Mark, intermittent fasting, what is it about?
Good question, mate. Is this the best way to lose weight, do you think?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I've heard about like the 5-2 diet. I've heard about all this stuff. A lot of our losers have talked about fasting. I think today we should cover it in an episode. What do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're over a year in and we haven't spoke about it much yet. So I think it's a good time to have an episode on it and talk about it.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
But before we do, we have a little plug for our listeners, don't we?
We do, mate. Yeah. Man v Fat, our sponsor. Mate, how did you get on with your game Monday you play, isn't it?
I was out injured, unfortunately. I refed my kids' football match on Saturday and I don't know, did something to my foot and then I was sort of hobbling around the rest of the weekend. So They did win, though. I think they won 6-4. And we're in the cup final, so they've got the old school format of league season and cup matches. So we go in against the Greens on Monday night for the cup final.
Mate, brilliant. Well, good luck with that. Hope that goes well. But for anyone else listening to this and you're into football and you want to lose a few pounds, shall we say, or a few kilos or a few stone even, then why not consider Man v Fat? Man v Fat is a football weight loss initiative. So what you do, as Mark's just been saying, is you play in a cup and a league, you play on the pitch, and your score gets supplemented through weight loss goals, doesn't it, Mark? So you can score hat-tricks, you can score extra goals, and heaven forbid you can score own goals by not doing so well on the scales.
Yeah, it all happens. If you fancy giving Man v Fat a go, what do you do?
Well, mate, if you go on to manvfat.org and you use the code BIGFELLAS in the promotional code section, then you will get sign up for just £1. Mark, what can you buy for £1 nowadays, mate, honestly?
Absolutely nothing. Don't think you'd even buy a sausage roll from Greg's for £1 now, can you? So...
No, mate.
Even if you did, you'd have a choice. You could play football, lose weight, get fit, or you could just eat another sausage roll and get fat.
That's right, mate. That's right. Both me and you have done it, mate. We swear by it. It's great system, great way of doing things. It makes you accountable, not just to yourself, which is obviously the most important thing, but also to your teammates. Because if you put on, you could cost them a game, which could cost them the league, or in your case, Mark, the cup in your next match.
Yeah,
and no one wants that on their shoulders, do they?
No, you really can't. So maybe the answer to going into a cup final, just to bring it back round, is maybe let's take on some intermittent fasting as I go into the cup final week. What do you reckon?
Yeah, mate. I don't know. Does it work that quick? It certainly. I've heard a lot about it over the years. I think that'd be a good shout.
Yeah. So I think the first thing, what is intermittent fasting? It's more about when you eat rather than what you eat, isn't it? It's not a diet. It's about eating in a set window and then not eating outside of that.
Yeah. So I did it years ago, the 5-2 diet. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I gave that a go.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like? What did that look like to you?
So to be honest, mate, it was all right. I found it okay. I think to be honest, part of my problem is I eat too early. And I sort of kickstart that hunger then, because I think if you eat, you sort of get into that like, right, I've had, say, breakfast at 7:30 in the morning, and then by lunchtime I'm ravenous. If I don't eat, then I tend to I'll be a bit peckish, but I don't seem to be as hungry. It's really strange. So I didn't struggle with the sort of, because if I remember rightly, it's 600 calorie days for 2 days, a week, and then you get 5 days where it's 2,000.
Yeah, effectively eat normal, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be honest, mate. I actually found the 2,000 calories a day a bit harder. I don't know. Because obviously when you can only have 600, you're so limited as to what you can eat, and it sort of just sets it out. Like you can't do it. That is what it is. If you start off the day and eat 600 calories, you're done. Yeah. So you're sort of very mindful of that, and then you're trying to wait until late afternoon to start eating something significant.
Yeah.
Slightly significant, shall I say, at 600 calories. But I think the trick for me, it really is water, because you can obviously recommend it to drink as much as you want or as much as you can, really. And that's a bit of a lifesaver, I think. Keep yourself hydrated. It's amazing how far you can go without food. What about you?
Yeah.
How did you get on with it?
Yeah, so I've dabbled with it in the past. I remember doing the 5-2 good 10 years ago, I think, tried it. And it worked for a period of time. And I mean, it's like with a lot of diets, I think it's that early stage. It's getting into the habit, which is hard. Do you know what I mean? Getting past that first few days where you're like really restrictive. But once you get past that and you get into a routine, it's actually not too bad. But yeah, I've just been doing a bit of research and talking to my old mate ChatGPT to tell us a bit more about intermittent fasting. And there's lots of different ways. So the 5-2 was one thing that we've both dabbled with. There is sort of a set eating window, and I think the most popular one is what they call 16, which is for 16 hours of a 24-hour period, you fast, and then you have an 8-hour window where you do eat. Now, I've dabbled with that in the past, and I feel like it's something maybe I want to give another go to. The way I saw it, and the easiest way to implement that was don't eat breakfast. So eat your lunch about midday, come home, have your dinner, and then as long as you're done by about 8 o'clock, then you've got yourself a 16-hour window of fasting into the next day. And it's as simple as that, really. That's the gist of it. And then also there's another option where you can obviously increase the fasting window and reduce your eating window. And another one, which was basically one meal a day. So literally you would just have one meal. So maybe your dinner or maybe lunch, and that's it. That seems a bit more intense, but there are people that are doing that and it's working for them. And I guess the instant thing is you'll sit there and get, fuck, that's going to make me really, really hungry. Can I do that? What was your experience like when you've tried it? Did you have that sort of feeling?
I mean, I suppose part of me thinks it must have been hard. It's obviously hard to keep going with it because I stopped doing it. So there's that part of it. Like, I don't think I did it for that long. That was probably more life getting in the way of things, as it does for everyone, I suppose. You know, like you have a busy day at work, you plan to go home and have dinner, but you don't get home until late. Maybe something like that. But I think actually doing it wasn't that bad. It's when you get thrown in life that things get more complicated. Like, you know, when your plans go out the window, as they often do, that's where perhaps it's a bit harder. I think, you know, I sit here thinking, do you know what? I think I'll be all right with that. I think the main thing is to make sure that you get the nutrients that your body needs. So, like, you know, you're having some good high protein meals, you're eating quite well. Because I think if you just eat crap and you think, well, I can eat what I want, I'm just fasting, then you're not going to sustain yourself, and then you're going to struggle more. Because
I think it's eating, and I think to get the full effect of it is about eating the right food when you do eat, isn't it? And if you eat crap, then you're probably not going to help yourself. And if you're having a 16-hour fast and then for 8 hours you're eating McDonald's and kebabs, and it's really you're not going to reap the benefits of it. It's kind of like throws in the face of it, I guess. One thing I just wanted to sort of go through on it is just look at some of the sort of scientific benefits of it.
Yeah, good idea.
So the main thing is it helps lower insulin levels, which in turn then promotes fat burning. So with low insulin, your body then creates ketones, and then those ketones will then burn your body fat, you burning carbohydrates and sugar in your bloodstream. That's the sort of a headline benefit of it, should I say. And so again, that's probably the big thing. And there's a lot of talk about insulin resistance these days and diabetes and people being pre-diabetic. That's a condition now, isn't it, that the doctors do diagnose, so to speak, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Darren spoke about this in his podcast that we released on New Year's Day, didn't he? That the biggest benefit for him is around diabetes, and he was a big fan of fasting for that reason.
Yeah, that's right, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's massive, mate, isn't it? If you're suffering with, you know, your insulin and suffering with diabetes, then that's a great way of combating it, then it's quite a manageable way of doing it. It's got to be better than taking medication as well. And, you know, I've got a few people that I know that are diabetic, and they're almost like eating Haribo at certain times, and you think that's not managing it, that's just dealing with a situation there and then. Whereas, fasting sounds like a good option for that. And he was a big fan of that. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. And I think other things, it's reported that people have better focus, better energy levels once they're kind of in the swing of it and everything. I think it might take a bit of adjustment as your body takes to it, but longer term, you feel more energized, you feel more focused, you get more done. And I think, again, there's a lot to be said for that, isn't there?
Definitely, mate, definitely. And like a lot of these diets, like you hear about like the caveman diet, you hear about things like that. It's kind of rewinding a couple of hundred years, isn't it? Like, mate, as you know, I'm quite into my history and I read a lot of history books and stuff. And in them, they're always talking about, hadn't eaten for 24 hours and stuff like that. Actually, the human body is extremely resilient and we can go a day without food. It's just that in modern society, we don't need to, so we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. The human body's designed for it. And if you go back to caveman times, we lived in an age of feast and famine. And I think the thing that really resonates is when the cavemen and when people were in that fasted state and they've got to then go out to hunt for their food, they haven't eaten for maybe 24 hours. They're not laying around thinking, oh, I'm really hungry. Oh, I'm low on energy. They're sharp, they're focused, and they're able to then go out, take down a gazelle or something like that, as maybe the cavemen did, catch their food, kill it, and eat it. And so that's how it was.
Yeah, that's it. And like, even going back, really, even our grandparents or great grandparents' generation, they had food rationing after the war. Food wasn't as readily available as what it is then, and that's that's within people's lifetime who we know, who we grew up with.
Yeah.
Go back a couple of hundred years. Certainly go back to say Viking times, so about 1,000 years ago, and actually most people didn't eat meat. It wasn't part of their diet because it was essentially for the rich or more successful people in life, the upper classes. But I think, look, let's be honest, it's 2025 and we ain't going to eat like that. But I suppose the benefit of fasting is it just brings it back into line, and maybe the way the body should be treated, maybe the way we should be eating and stuff.
Yeah, just quickly on sort of like the history point that you made. If you look through sort of a lot of religions, there's often fasting included there, isn't there? You're going to have to look at sort of like Islam, and Muslims fast for Ramadan and everything, don't they? And so historically, it's always been there.
It's interesting, mate, because I was talking to Zahir from Man v Fat about this. And, a shout out to Zahir, because I know he listens. Lovely lad. And he was saying that he was thinking about doing some things around fasting and stuff like that. Obviously, I've got quite a few Muslim friends who sort of fast during Ramadan and stuff. And again, from what I can gather of that, it's quite nice in a way, because they all of my friends, as a friend, you very much get told fasting at the moment, and then as soon as the sun goes down, it's a family time. It's quite nice. It's almost like a bit of a Christmas feel. The whole family get together and then they feast and they enjoy their food and stuff. But it's that goes on for, I don't know the exact time. It goes on for quite a while, doesn't it?
About 4 weeks, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's, if Ramadan comes, say, midsummer, that's not a big window. You're actually talking a lot less than 8 hours, I would imagine. Certainly in the peak of summer, that must be quite tough. But it just goes to show how resilient the human body is. If you can do that for 4 weeks, you probably lose quite a lot of weight. And that's where you definitely will want to be eating whole meals, like home cooked meals.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe we should get to it, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for sort of looking more into it. It's maybe worth looking at some of the challenges and the downsides of fasting. I guess the obvious one is, I'm going to feel hungry, and I think in the early times, and I've spoke about it when I did the Cambridge weight plan, which is obviously massively calorie restricted, is in that immediate period of when you first start, it is tough because you're not used to it. You're used to eating maybe 3 meals a day and a couple of snacks, and then going from that to then not eating for 16 hours in a 24-hour period, your body's like, fuck, what's going on here? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's always going to... I think that's the same with any diet though, mate, to be honest. Yeah. I think when you start a diet, you're having that lifestyle shock. So it's always going to be hard at the very beginning to get into that routine, to get going. They say it takes about a month, don't they, to break a routine and to get into a new one. And I was talking to Sean about this the other day, one of the sort of fitness coaches that I am in contact with, and he was saying like the best thing to do is to break one habit at a time, because if you make drastic changes too quickly, then you're gonna you're going to struggle to maintain it. So, and I suppose intermittent fasting or whatever you're going to do is quite a big lifestyle change. And, Mark, in a couple of weeks, there's a few of us meeting up, and we're probably going to have some food. We're probably going to have some drinks. And I was thinking when you were saying there, like, it's hard to change that lifestyle. And if you're fasting and then you're meeting a couple of mates for a few drinks and some food or something like that, you don't really want to go to that social event and be like, well, sorry, boys, it's 8:01, I'm done now. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just the food. Like, you've got to be careful, because what you can't do is keep sinking the beers after 8 o'clock, because obviously there's a lot of calorie in alcoholic drinks as well.
Yeah, well, when I did this in the past, the way I saw it, there's two ways you can adjust to this. So either you start your eating window later in the day. So maybe you'd say your normal eating hours would have been between 12 midday till 8 p.m. at night. Well, maybe then you just have to fast forward your lunch. You don't have lunch till 2 o'clock, because then you're going out for dinner or something. So then that extends it, say, till 10 o'clock. Equally, if you break it and you don't do it, well, it's only one day. It's not going to throw your body out of any kind of major routine. You just pick up and carry on the next day. And I think, like I spoke about previously when I did the Cambridge weight plan, and I had like birthdays and celebrations and sort of like weekenders and that planned in, I prepared for it. I knew it was coming, and yeah, I enjoyed it, but then got back on it afterwards. I didn't have that fuck it moment where you just give up, say, oh, well, I'm just going to sort of have this cake now because I can't be arsed. And then that cheat day, that cheat moment becomes a cheat day, a cheat week, cheat month, and you've fallen well and truly off the wagon. I think certainly with intermittent fasting, it's just for a period. If that's, like I said, if you're having that special meal out, okay, just do it and enjoy it. Something I've always spoke about, and I don't really said it much on this, but like, I remember talking to our Man v Fat coach, Sean, when I was playing up there. And I also said to him, it was like, I never got fat because of one night out, one holiday, one big meal with family. I got fat because of what I did in the day to day, And so it's about that. So if you could live in a routine where your 9 to 5, your daily grind is, say, intermittent fasting, and then like you're having like your special times, you just do what you want, then you're probably doing all right, aren't you?
I kind of agree with that, but I'm just going to throw a bit of a sideball in with that as well. So I totally agree, mate. It's the day to day where you struggle, and that's where we put on weight. It's the Mars bars when you're filling up with fuel. It's the it's the going to the shop and getting a pasty before work, or whatever it is for you, right? It is the day to day that ultimately screws you. But when you start a diet, you've got to break habits as well. So you have to go through a certain amount of consistency and breaking that habit and starting your new habits in order to build them. And if you start within time having those days where you're like, well, do you know what? I'm going out with mates. I'm just going to let my hair down tonight. That's where I've dropped off, mate. And that's where, for me, it's ended because I've done it too early.
I think I get that. I get that entirely. And I guess the nuance is knowing the difference between, oh, well, I'm out with my mates, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want. And then waking up the following morning and carry on with that mindset, compared to, I'm doing this is my day to day. This is a night out with the lads. I'm going to have a few beers. I'm going to enjoy this. But tomorrow, get my head back in the game and carry on again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's definitely sort of two ways about it. So, but just sort of looking at like practical tips if people want to start it and everything. And like I said, I think the best one is to sort of refer to, and the most common one is the 16-8 sort of setting. And when I was looking into it, the best way to start is probably do a 12-12. So you have a 12-hour eating period, and then you have a 12-hour on, 12-hour off. Do that for a week or so just to get your body used to having times where it does and doesn't eat. And when you actually probably look at it, bear in mind you're sleeping at night, a big chunk of that time is taken up with there. So it's actually maybe just having breakfast a little bit later and dinner a little bit earlier. And that sort of then just sets you on your way. Once you're a week or so in and you're feeling that bit better about it, you then move on, you rake it up to the 16 hours fast, 8 hours eating window. When that gets comfortable, you can probably then just tweak it that bit more.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate, definitely. Do you want to know honestly what the most successful diet I've ever done is? Like genuinely, like I lost more weight on this than anything else that I've done.
Slimming World.
No.
No, go on.
So, obviously before surgery, one of the things that you have to do,
Yes,
so if
you
you're
did
having
say, yeah.
surgery around the stomach, it was called a liver shrinkage diet. So the idea is you shrink your liver, and it was really structured, mate. I'll have to find the paperwork for it one day if I've still got it, but it was like you can eat this, 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 and this a day. And it was like 2 veg. I think a crumpet and jam was on there. And it was like going from eating like, at that time, mate, my eating habits were awful. But it was like, you've got no choice but to do this. So there was no messing around with it,
You had proper skin in the game, didn't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, yeah. But the thing I'd say is I didn't find it that hard to do. And I think in 2 weeks, I lost 2 stone. And it very nearly threw me because I was like, actually, do I need to go through this? Like, I could just carry on doing this.
Yeah.
And it was basically, it worked out like there's X amount of proteins, X amount of carbs, X amount of veg. And it was quite a lot of veg, but it just got really routine. And what I think I loved about it, it was just so structured. It was like that day, eat this, 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 and this. That day, eat that, 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 and that. And that really worked for me. Might go back to it, actually. But no, it was really good.
You got to do what works, isn't it? That's what we've said all along is there's lots of different ways to lose weight, and it's find one that works for you.
Yeah. What was sort of coming around full circle here, I think the reason that worked so well for me as well is because what I was doing is I was basically taking in a crumpet and a little bit of jam to work. And when I say a little bit of jam, it was weighed and it was small. And I was taking that into work at the time, and I was basically waiting until midday to eat that because I knew that if I ate that at 8, 9 o'clock, I'd struggle to then only eat the food. So sort of subconsciously, without even thinking about it, because of the limited amount of food I was eating, I had to kind of fast in order to do it. And there was probably like a 6-7 hour window where I would eat the meals because they were so small, and they were, a lot of it, like I said, was veg. Yeah. It was almost like fasting without realizing it as well. And it was very, very effective. It was quite a healthy meal, but very effective.
No, I like saying that. One of the weight loss methods that I've not spoken about on this, where I lost a lot really quickly, like 3 stone in 4 weeks, I think I lost, was a juice fast. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I have heard of them. I don't know. Yeah. They can't be good for you though, can they?
It worked and I felt great. Oh, have you seen the film Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead?
No.
It's brilliant. It's a documentary film. So it's an Australian guy who was successful in business. Being successful in business, he basically went out, partied a lot, ate loads of really good food, rich food and that, and he just piled the weight on. He also had that horrible skin conditions, psoriasis, is that it?
Psoriasis.
Yeah, and like I said, he was on medication for that and nothing could shift it. And then he discovered this juice fast, and he basically lost 6 stone, did a 30-day juice fast. So for 30 days, he did nothing but drink juice, fruit and vegetables. It all came off. He reversed his skin condition. He'd pretty much come off all his meds, and he turned his life around in 30 days just by drinking sort of juice. It's a really good film. It's worth watching. I would recommend it. So off the back of that, I gave it a go, and I lost a lot of weight doing it. I mean, the problem was I came off of it and then I piled a lot back on. It is very much what I would call that crash diet, but maybe there is something in it. It was a form of fasting at the end of the day. I guess that's where I was trying to go with this.
Yeah. I think the issue is that, like you said, with problem with things like that is they do tend to be crash diets and they're not sustainable. But then it's so hard to just change your lifestyle. It sounds so simple. Then just change your lifestyle, eat healthier. Oh, okay. Yeah, brilliant. Didn't think of that. Yeah.
There is a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook who lost weight. He started at the same time as me. He was massive and he lost a lot, and he has kept it off. Charles Bruno. I don't know if he listens or not, but big up Charles if he is. I would like to see if we can get him on, because I think he'd be a great guest and he could talk about it far more passionately and far more informatively than I can. I just saw it sat on my arse on Netflix. So he's lived it and he's kept it off. in fairness to the guy.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. I tell you what, me and my wife are doing at the moment is we've just made our first order to Simmer. Have you ever heard of Simmer?
I've heard of it, but I know nothing about it. Tell me what it is, mate.
Yeah. So basically, mate, as you know, Mark, and I think a lot of men our age, we live such chaotic lifestyles. You know, like I think me and you were talking about this the other day, like working all the time, always. I've got kids' football. I run the club. I run I coach the team with a couple of other lads. You know, there's always stuff going on for families and working families and stuff, isn't there? So the lifestyle's just a nightmare, mate. And often I won't get back from London till late, and then I've got football training. And by the time I get back, it's 9 o'clock at night. So what Simmer is it's basically pre-cooked, chef-cooked meals, and they're healthier. So they're high in protein. They've got lots of veg in, and you basically microwave it. So obviously, I think this podcast is going out, obviously it's Monday morning when you listen to this. Hopefully if you listen to it straight away, we would be starting it this day. The meals are coming next Sunday. For time of recording. So it's interesting. So it was, I think for me and the wife, it was 63 quid on an offer for 6 meals each. So 12 meals, 63 quid. I thought, do you know what? Nowadays, that's all right. They're healthy. They look banging on the photos, but the jury's out, and we'll update in the podcast. We'll probably do an episode about it at some point.
Definitely. If someone on Simmer wants to sponsor the show, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll welcome you.
They're huge. I kept seeing them on TikTok. I obviously just kept getting targeted from them. And I think it was set up by a couple of young lads, like one of them was a footballer or something like that. But do you know when you just think like, that really suits my lifestyle? Because if I'm working in London and I'm playing, let's say I'm playing football that night, I can just have it at lunchtime and then just grab something small when I get back from football. It just seems to work for a busy lifestyle, but they're very much advertised as high protein, lots of nutrients, and enjoyable chef cooked meals. So the jury's out on that for me, like whether you can keep that quality with a microwave meal. You can oven cook them, but the idea really is quick and easy. So we'll have to, that'll be interesting, I think.
Yeah, fair play. Like I said, I'm curious to know. We'll definitely talk about that on one of the next episodes, mate.
Definitely.
What were we talking about? We were talking about intermittent fasting, weren't we?
Yeah, we were talking about intermittent fasting, but I think that's a good place to start up, to be honest, mate. Look, I think ultimately, to recap, like with intermittent fasting, there's huge benefits to it. Huge benefits.
Also, without going down a rabbit hole on this, I've been listening to a couple of Steve Bartlett's podcasts, Diary of a CEO, and he's had a couple of fasting experts on recently, and sort of one guy talking like fasting being a cure to like most ailments, and sort of having people with severe illnesses going on a 30-day fast and effectively curing them of this. Now, I'm not going to make any great claims here because I'm no expert in that, but there's a lot of health benefits to it, I think, is probably the best way to say. But again,
30-day,
do your own research.
30-day, like you must be eating something in that time.
No, it's a 30-day fast. You drink just pure water, maybe black coffee, I think. You have probably a few supplements mixed in, electrolytes and stuff. And of course, it's under medical supervision. It's not like you're just living your daily life and you're fasted for 30 days. But again, we're not the experts. Maybe we get a fasting expert in to probably talk about this and hear their take on that and hear what they say about sort of longer term fasts and how they affect the body and everything.
We've talked about a few things today. Like you talked about, is it cirrhosis, the skin condition? We talked about on earlier when we started about diabetes, and it's weird, isn't it? Like I've got this weird view of the NHS where it's all, well, not the NHS, but like medical research in general, where we're trying to create a pill for everything. And you could almost argue like the jabs and what I had as well.
100%. Yeah.
It's like we're always trying to find medical solutions to our lifestyle where actually a lot of the time maybe the prescription should be like, stop eating for 16 hours a day or whatever it's going to be. But we always focus on the cure rather than the prevention. And it's the prevention is what we'd all rather, isn't it? Yeah. And I know it's been on the news that they're looking at other therapy, other treatment types, aren't they? So yeah, maybe we need to take a bit of personal responsibility. But the fasting thing is quite interesting. I could tie that in quite nicely with my simmer as well, can I? If you think about it, maybe I should do that.
Don't eat and then just have your simmers.
Yeah, don't eat, or either have the simmer at lunchtime and have something small. Before say 6 p.m. or have it at 6 p.m. and eat from lunchtime onwards. You could easily do that around a busy lifestyle. But interesting, mate. But I've enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, definitely. Mate.
I just want to give a quick shout out. One of my mates keeps messaging me. He's an old school friend, not seen him for many years. Probably a bit of a blast from the past from you, Alex McNulty. Do you remember him?
Yes, I spoke to him a couple of weeks back, actually.
Yeah. Oh, so he's been on here as well. Yeah, but it's good to speak to him up in Scotland. So thanks for listening, Alex, if you are listening to this one. But look, I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. In the next couple of weeks, actually, Mark, we've got some really interesting people coming on. I'll just give a quick preview to that. Yeah. So we've got another loser coming up.
Yeah.
Which you've organised, Mark. So that'll be good. Always
Matt
good
Gibson coming up next. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So his episode will probably be coming out next week. We've got Rachel coming on, hopefully, to talk about alcohol. That'll be a good one.
Huge,
something I've wanted to cover for a long time. And we don't know when yet, but very soon we got James coming in to talk about mindset. He's like a hypnotherapist type person. So that's one that I'm really quite interested in as well.
Yeah, and I think I said I've been talking to a Cambridge University professor in the past week who's and he's read a book on motivation, so I quite like the sound of that.
Very relevant. Yeah, we got some really good guests coming up, so make sure you subscribe, so that you can have it pop up on your phone or wherever it is when you listen to your podcasts, and we'll see you again soon.